Always a lot of Cub fans when we come to Cincinnati. It's the Cubs' third trip here already, and it starts a 4-game series and an 8-game road trip. It's the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds here on NBC Sports Chicago. Great to have you with us tonight. Jim Deshaies and Len Casper with you. The Cubs have the best record currently in the National League. The Brewers were rained out last night. They're hosting the Cardinals this weekend, and the Cubs coming off one of their best games of the season.
Yeah, all the way around. Cubs 12 hits, 4 runs yesterday. Took advantage of some run-scoring opportunities. Played sparkling defense, and oh, by the way, John Lester, 7 shutout innings. That was the one strikeout he had in the ball game yesterday. It wasn't a dominating performance for him, but still 7 scoreless. Got help from Kyle Schwarber, hit a long home run into the wind.
And really, it was about defense. In terms of all the great defensive plays, that's one of the best games we've ever seen.
Absolutely. You see the throw from Hayward, the tag by Contreras. Baez made 2 or 3 sparkling plays, including this unassisted double play. Just love the reaction. He's on the move before he catches the baseball to double off Kike Hernandez. He made a real good play at short as well. And we look now at the National League Central standings. Cubs looking to take advantage of the Reds, who have kind of occupied last place for the last few years. And the Cubs have done a lot of damage in this ballpark.
Yeah, they have. The Reds are playing much better under Jim Riggleman. They've won 3 in a row and 6 of their last 8, and that'll bring us to our starting pitching matchup.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks snapped a 3-game losing streak last time out in St. Louis. Went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, walked 4, the highest walk total he's had all year. Matt Harvey had a 7 with the Mets. Things weren't working out. They put him in the bullpen. Change of scenery trade with the Reds. Hasn't gotten a whole lot better here. 7 starts, 1-3 with a 5.09.
Cubs lead the season series 3-2. All of those games have been played here at Great American Ballpark, and the Cubs coming off a real fun series win over the Dodgers. The Cubs and the Reds are coming up from the Queen City next. Tomorrow, the park is gone. Don't miss the movie event of the summer when Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom hits theaters. Got a lot of rain today here in Cincinnati, but the skies are clearing up a little bit, and we are set for the series opener. And let's check in on the Cubs Southwest starting lineup that will face right-hander Matt Harvey. Chris Bryant in the leadoff spot for the 4th consecutive day. Jason Hayward batting second. You see what he's done since May 19th. Javi Baez had a huge game all the way around on Wednesday against the Dodgers. He's going to bat third tonight ahead of Rizzo. Addison Russell's been in a nice stretch. Kyle Schwarber's homered in back-to-back games. Wilson Contreras catching and hitting 7th. Ian Happ has always hit well in this ballpark near where he went to college at the University of Cincinnati. And Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher, will bat 9th.
The Cincinnati club defensively, Duvall, Hamilton, Winker in the outfield. Hamilton, one of the best in the business out there in center. Suarez, Jeanette Votto, 3 of the 4 on the infield have legitimate claims to be all-stars. They're joined by Jose Peraza, the shortstop. Tucker Barnhart, really solid behind the plate in our Lexus experience. Amazing starting pitcher for Cincinnati tonight is right-hander Matt Harvey, formerly of the New York Mets. And so far combined between New York and Cincinnati, 1-5 with a 5.92 earned run average.
Set your umpires for tonight. That's Jordan Baker behind the plate, Jeremy Rehack at first, Greg Gibson at second, and the crew chief Jerry Lane over at third. And here we go. Chris Bryant, a check swing foul to get us started.
Harvey 6'4", 215, still just 29 years of age, trying to recapture that glory. When he first came up to the big leagues with the Mets, got off to such a great start.
Swing and a miss. The leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If Bryant gets a hit here, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Wow, 98 miles per hour. Harvey still has that good arm. The results aren't good, but the stuff is still pretty good. The looks of that, very good.
Now, the last time the Cubs faced him, he was really struggling with his velocity, and it ended up putting him on the DL. That was in the middle of last season. He missed 2.5 months with a right shoulder injury as a result.
Got a couple surgeries in his history. He was an all-star in 2013, the comeback player of the league in 2015.
Ground ball scooped up by Suarez. Off balance throw to Votto is in time for the first out.
So stuff is good. Sometimes the command can be an issue. We'll give you an idea what the Cubs are up against here tonight. Pretty heavy with the fastball slider combination. He's been averaging about 94 miles per hour, up a tick or two since he joined Cincinnati, and by early indications even better here tonight. Changeup, curveball, not quite as much.
That brings up the right fielder Jason Hayward, who made one of the best throws from the outfield we've seen this season to get Chris Taylor at home plate yesterday afternoon. Harvey into his wind, and the pitch, swing and a miss.
Pretty good looking changeup there from Harvey. He's made 11 starts this year, only 1 quality start. He's managed to go 6 innings just 3 times.
Off the end of the bat coming in Hamilton, and he won't get it. So that late break costs him, and Hayward has a 1-out single. Usually if a ball is hit in Hamilton's area, he catches it.
Yeah, he's pretty good out there in his sphere of responsibility, but this is a big swing out the end of the bat. This one oftentimes fools the center fielder. I think it's hit better than it is. Takes him a little while to get a read on it, and even with his speed, he could not close the deal.
And the sun may have actually helped Hayward a little bit. It's nice to see the sun. We didn't see it at all today. Javier Baez takes off the outside corner for ball one. Big day yesterday. 3 hits, 2 doubles, a triple. Stole a base, his 13th. Scored twice. Played great defense. That is a strike. Time for our high-speed action, powered by Xfinity. What a beautiful play.
Started another double play. Also made an outstanding play earlier in the game at shortstop.
Softly topped toward the shortstop and cut off by the third baseman Suarez. He's made 2 plays early. Hayward now at second base for Anthony Rizzo. 2 outs in the inning.
And this is what Javi has been doing less of lately. He's been using the big part of the yard, hitting the ball the other way into center field. Now yesterday he did pull the ball with authority to left as he had that big day. And Joe Madden rewards him, puts him in the 3-hole here tonight.
'24 career home runs for Rizzo against the Reds. 4th most among active players. And he stands in with 2 outs in an RBI spot. Hayward at second. And the first pitch is a little high. You'll notice this weekend the outfield grass looks worn. They had a Luke Bryan concert here on Saturday. So reading about it, the groundskeeper says everything plays fine. It just looks a little funky. Outside 2-0.
Well, we all want to be a little more funky.
Yeah.
Looks like some kind of a secret code. Well, opportunity here. Hitters count. Man in scoring position.
That's a strike.
Anthony currently 5th in the National League in runs batted in.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of guys on that leaderboard in this game.
313 with runners in scoring position.
Swing and a miss. Four of the top 6, in fact, in the National League. And they're all infielders.
Keep waiting for Scooter to change his name to Slugger.
Off the inside corner. Full count on Rizzo. Russell is on deck. First inning. Game 1 of 4. Cubs are 65 and 65 all time at Great American Ballpark. Rizzo chokes up and he hits a high fly ball to right. Jesse Winker coming over, foul ground, and he hauls it in and hands it to a young fan. Nicely done. Reds coming up against that man when we come back. 3-15 start. Bryant Price got fired. Jim Riggleman has led them to a 25-30 record since. Peraza, Barnhart, and Votto at the top. Jeanette, Suarez, and Winker in the middle. Adam Duvall still under 200, but much better as of late. Pitcher bats 8th for the most part for the Reds. Billy Hamilton 9th.
Cubs defensively, and boy, they put on a show yesterday. Tonight it's Schwarber, Happ, Hayward, left, center, right. Infield, Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo, with some Contreras behind the plate. And the Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher for the Cubs is the professor, Kyle Hendricks, looking to even his record. He's 5-6 through 14 starts with a 3.55 earned run average, lifetime 4-1, 357 against Cincinnati. 1-1 in this ballpark with a 5.65.
Career 3.02. And a first pitch strike on Peraza. This first inning is key for Kyle. He has allowed a major league or a National League high 7 home runs in the first inning this season. And typically he's able to settle in after that first inning. He did it in his last start and beat the Cardinals on Saturday 6-3.
Yeah, he's allowed 14 home runs this year. That's just a couple of shy of what he allowed all of last year. Here's the mix for Kyle. Fastball, mostly sinkers, occasionally a four-seamer. Changeup is his best weapon, and usually the curveball you'll see a little bit later in the ball game, just kind of a get-over pitch, second or third time through the batting order. But he'll adjust according to the opposition. And he really knows how to break down hitters and how to attack their weaknesses. The home runs, especially those first inning home runs, I think a byproduct of a couple things. One, trying to be aggressive early, and two, at times the command of the sinker hasn't been quite as sharp this year.
Peraza does not strike out very much. He's in the leadoff spot for the 15th time this season.
Yeah, it's funny. They've got a bunch of guys that walk a lot. He does not. He's more the prototypical number 2 hitter, a guy who back in the day when such things were in vogue, you'd play a hit and run with. You could go out of the zone to make contact.
Another 2-2 is fouled off again.
We might have a little bit of a hot gun here tonight. We just saw 89 from Kyle, and he's typically 86, 87. We saw 98 from Harvey.
Although I will say we have seen more 88s at times this season from Kyle.
What's that old song? Look away, look away. Peraza should be looking away. Not this time, though.
And he hit him.
Should be looking out.
Yeah. So the leadoff man reaches on a hit by pitch.
Yeah, and that may be, the first inning home runs. He's like, oh, I'm not going to leave this thing over the plate. I'm going to make sure I get it in on his hands, and just overcooked it a little bit. Peraza has been effective as a base stealer. He's swiped 9 in 11 tries.
Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher, began the year mainly in the 6, 7, and 8 spots, but for the past month has been hitting second. He's got a 6-game hitting streak, and he takes a strike.
Yeah, most switch hitters are better from this side, but he has not been. He's a 231 as a left-handed batter, 439 when batting right-handed this year.
Rizzo holds Peraza. Here's the pitch on the ground. Bryant with the right play, as he did not have a play on Peraza, so that'll play like a sacrifice bunt. 1 out, and it brings up Joey Votto.
Yeah, change up down. They went hunting for a ground ball. They got it, but no real shot there at second base. And certainly early in the game, you're going to be safe. Just get outs. Good heads up play by Contreras, sprinting down to cover third.
This guy's been a tough matchup for Kyle. He's a tough matchup for just about everybody. But Votto 8 out of 16 with 2 home runs versus Hendricks.
and a bunch of walks too. The on-base percentage for Votto against Kyle's up over 600.
And he takes high on a fastball.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, slashing 500, 692, 938. That's a 1630 OPS. That is a strike.
And one of the headiest pitchers in the game and one of the smartest hitters in the game. And the old adage is that good pitching stops good hitting, but in this instance Votto's had the upper hand.
With this appearance tonight, Votto passes Frank Robinson for 8th on the Reds games played list, 1,503. The count is 1-2. That win on Saturday snapped a personal 3-game losing streak for Hendricks.
Yeah, and he hadn't pitched horribly. The Cubs hadn't scored for him. They'd only scored 1 run in each of his previous 3 starts during that losing stretch.
Look at the choke up by Votto.
Yeah, well, if you're Kyle and you see those numbers that Votto has against you, maybe you go into this one and go, I'm just going to completely change my game plan. Just do something I don't do. And I don't know if Kyle's to that point yet, but at some point that's what happens. And old school pitching coaches would say, you know what, knock a guy down. Just change the dynamic of the relationship.
Inside. I'm also fascinated by Votto's pre-pitch routine where that front foot he'll step in front of home plate. I don't think I've ever seen a batter do that.
I'm not sure what it's all about. He was just marking his territory, claiming his turf.
Right. I could see some pitchers not liking that as he pulls it foul.
Talking to Contreras there, like, you guys don't normally do that. I mean, he's always engaging.
Watch this, right? He steps behind home plate, but out of the batter's box. Another 2-2 on a bounce to Rizzo, and Hendricks wins this battle. Brandon Hyde, the Cubs bench coach, tells a story a couple of years ago or last year. I'm not sure exactly when. Doesn't matter. You know, Votto always very chatty when he plays first base, and would really talk up Brandon when he was the Cubs first base coach. And he said after a really bad at bat, Votto went back to his defensive position and he looked at Brandon and said, Hyder, I'm this close. And then he pointed to some very minor mechanical thing with his wrist. Brandon said he reached base the next 9 plate appearances in that series.
Yeah, he's it's pretty amazing.
Scooter Gennett,
speaking of,
has been nothing short of amazing. He is leading the league in batting. Runner at third, 2 out. This is a pretty formidable trio, right? Votto, Gennett, Suarez.
Yeah, I mean, it's really impressive what they're doing. And on the last place club, and everybody around the game knows about Votto. It's been quite a story for Gennett the last couple of years, and Suarez a little bit beneath the radar, but he's a proven run producer now.
Here's a 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a change. Cubs have been really good against this offense. 5 games in the season series. And the Cubs staff with a 1.40 earned run average. The last time we were here, the Cubs won 3 of 4, and in those 3 wins, the Reds were held to 8 combined hits.
kind of hit or miss when you get through the middle of the order. Duvall, who's batting 7th tonight, has got power, but the average is down, although he's been swinging it better of late. And you can say that about most of these Reds hitters. They're batting 279 in the month of June. That's 3rd best in Major League Baseball. Won 6 of 8, scoring 44 runs over those 8 ball games.
Two balls and 2 strikes.
Joey Votto leads the league in on-base percentage, but with Suarez and Jeanette, they've got quite a trio combined for a 362 on-base percentage. Tops among all infields collectively. You see the Astros and the Cubs just behind.
Kyle now set at the belt, and the pitch fouled away again. So having a little trouble putting away hitters here in the 1st inning. We'd like to welcome our viewers watching on Sharon Telephone in Hills, Iowa. Great to have you with us tonight. 76 degrees as we get started. We'll take it here in Cincinnati on the first day of summer for sure.
Hey, yeah, happy summer, everybody. Enjoy the longest day of the year.
Down the left field line, Schwarber's over. That ball is foul. I hope Kyle's okay as he slid into the wall.
Hope the wall's okay. Sporty effort there by Kyle. Gentleman in the blue, but I'm assuming it's a Cubs shirt. Be careful with your reach there. That might have been a playable ball.
Pitch number 10 to Jeanette coming.
Jeanette finally able to take one of those changeups. And the question as Hendricks takes a little time before delivering this next pitch is, does he stay with a changeup? I feel like Jeanette's going to cheat here. And right back to another changeup fouled away.
Scooter not due to become a free agent until after next season, but he has been the subject of some trade rumors due to the fact the Reds have been out of it since April.
Yeah, and he wants to stay here. He had his agent contact the Reds this winter and talk to them about an extension. Reds weren't ready to move on that.
3-2 is in the air to left. Schwarber will get it. Took a lot of work, but Hendricks with a scoreless first. Schwarber, by the way, will bat 2nd in the 2nd when we come back. Enjoy a cold Miller Lite. Look forward to the hold true moment later in tonight's game. Cubs and Reds. Very odd season series. All the games in Cincinnati will have been completed before the Reds play the Cubs in Chicago. So we'll play 9 games here before Reds and Cubs match up at Wrigley.
Yeah, and after this weekend we'll be done here, and that's really odd. A team within the same division to not see them at all in their ballpark in the second half. But that's the way it plays out this year. Cubs since 2015, 43-19 against the Reds, including 23-10 here at the Great American Ballpark.
Addison Russell's been in a nice groove with the bat here lately. He'll have to battle down 0-2 to Matt Harvey, who beat the Cubs in Game 1 of the 2015 NLCS in New York. And I remember he threw a first inning changeup. Joe Madden said it was about the best changeup he had ever seen. He was dazzling. And when he's at his best, and we haven't seen it a lot here the last couple of years, but people were talking about him as one of the elite. So the Reds wondering if they can find that again.
Yeah, and that's you know, he was a number 7 overall pick in the 2010 draft out of University of North Carolina. 2 years later he was in the big leagues.
The 2015 season he put up a .271 in 29 starts.
So 2012 through 2015 he made 65 starts. He was 25-18 with a 2.53. Last 3 years 46 starts, 10-22 with a 5.81.
Yeah, hard to figure out.
Well, you know, injuries, a couple surgeries for sure, and then a lot of distractions in New York. He was all kinds of controversy. He was frustrated and late for a couple games, and the whole he was the Dark Knight and the whole, all the persona stuff. Cincinnati might be a good fit for him. We'll see.
He's from Mystic, Connecticut. Attended the University of North Carolina. Full count.
He's been doing a lot of work to right and right center. Batting average has gone up and up and up.
And he just drew a leadoff walk.
He's been doing that too. The Cub fans, celebrate your 4th of July with America's Pastime at baseball's most majestic ballpark. The Cubs take on the Tigers. Interleague matchups July 3rd and 4th. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com. The pageantry, the beauty, the splendor, the patriotism, the baseball.
Kyle Schwarber from nearby Middletown, Ohio. Career .330 versus the Reds. Swing and a miss. Pitching has been an issue for the Reds for a while. This year they ranked 27th in the majors in earned run average at 4.86. Their starters at one point from May 25th to June 10th went 15 consecutive games without a quality start.
Starters have a 5.39 ERA. That's the highest in the National League. They've allowed a National League high 104 home runs. They established the single season home runs allowed record a couple seasons ago. I mean, it's a hitter's park. It's a tough place to pitch. But
swing and a miss, strike 3. Yeah, I believe that year was walks and home runs, which is a lethal combination.
A little heat upstairs to get the job done. First strikeout of the night for Harvey.
And last year they gave up 248 homers, most in the majors, and 631 walks, the second most. It's almost impossible to win when you do that.
You couldn't win with the 27 Yankees doing that.
Want to know on Wilson Contreras. They track these sort of things now. He has not hit a line drive over the last 11 games. So,
yeah, a lot of pulled ground balls to the shortstop side. Just not getting through the ball.
Foul pop up, plenty of room for Votto, and that's out number 2 as Contreras heads back empty-handed.
Yeah, you see the body language lately for Wilson. A lot of frustration. And I think what's getting to him is the power. He hasn't hit the ball out of the ballpark very much. I think he's trying to cheat to get out in front. And, you end up pulling off the ball or rolling over on it.
Russell still at first base, 2 outs, and it's Ian Happ, University of Cincinnati alum, who has 5 home runs in 10 games here at Great American Ballpark. This place in Busch Stadium, he really sees the ball well.
One out of 3 with a home run against Harvey, for what that's worth. Not much. But he's got him in his book.
96 for a strike. Kick and the pitch. It is off the inside corner on a slider. 90 miles an hour. Night game tomorrow, late afternoon contest on Saturday, day game Sunday, and then the Cubs fly to Los Angeles. Rain is in the forecast all weekend. Getting this one in tonight, really important. And so far, so good.
Keep your eye looking up on the left field wall as the storm will come down the mighty Ohio.
Is that what happens here?
That's what happens. Just beyond there, you can't see it, is the Ohio River.
A ground ball to Jeanette in shallow right, and Harvey works around the leadoff free pass. After an inning and a half, 0-0. And an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Members FDIC. Kyle Hendricks in the first inning needed 28 pitches. Faced 4 batters. He hit Peraza before getting Barnhart, Votto, and Jeanette. He'll face Eugenio Suarez to lead off the Reds second.
Suarez in the midst of a 10-game hitting streak. During those 10 games, he only has 11 hits. He does have that streak going, and he's hit for power during this stretch with 4 home runs.
You mentioned Jeanette. The long deal they gave to Suarez was in spring training, 7 years, $66 million. So he's locked in through 2024 with a club option for the following season. And a ground ball, base hit. Cubs shifting to the left against him, so nobody in that area.
Yeah, we put his nose right on and shot it through that vacant spot on the right side of the infield. The Cubs don't shift all that often. See how he really focuses on trying to hit that ball that way. We'll see what happens next time he's up there if they change their approach.
Yeah, you don't like giving up a leadoff hit. On the other hand, a guy with 15 home runs hit the ball on the ground. Jesse Winker.
And he's also a guy who doesn't steal bases, and you got a ground ball pitcher on the mound, so Hendricks will chase that ground ball for a double play here if he can get it.
Scott Schebler was placed on the bereavement list before the game tonight. Curve on the outside. Well located, and it's 0-2 on Winker. Don't let me forget Jamie Ramsey from the Reds media relations staff always has a scoreboard stumper that we dig into here in Cincinnati, and he's got a good one tonight. And I'll give it to you right now.
All right.
Name the 6 active pitchers with a 15-win season in each league. I already thought of one.
Scherzer?
Well, there's 2. How about John Lester?
How about John Lester?
Got to figure he's on the list, right?
Yep. My apologies to John for not naming him first.
It's okay. I just sprung the question on you. There's that double play ball. Way to dial it up, JD.
The price you get for beating the shift. Standing there at first base, you play into the professor's hands.
Right, so there, look, it's not black or white. There's always gray in this game. But you may have said when that ball rolled through the right side, well, how can you not have the second baseman in the area? You just gave up a hit. But as I said, Suarez is a power hitter. And as JD mentioned, it led to a double play. Now with the game on the line and all you need is a single, yeah, you wouldn't want to give up that hit. But you play the percentages the best you can.
Yeah, and again, it's with Suarez not a speed guy either. He's got a real speedy guy. A single could turn into a double in a hurry with a stolen base.
Adam Duvall, the left fielder, batting 7th. You see good numbers against Hendricks. 199 on the year, over 300 his last 13 games. That is a strike. It's 2-1.
Okay, we got to dig in on this question.
Yeah, I haven't really contemplated it much deeper than John Lester.
But how about CC Sabathia? Did he win 15 when he was with Milwaukee?
So I'm going to make him kind of a write him in pencil. Three and two. Pitcher Harvey on deck. He's batting 8th tonight. How about Zach Greinke?
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one too. Hendricks with his first strikeout. 0-0. 2 in the books from Cincy. Lester, over his last 5 starts, has certainly done that. He's won all 5. Gave up some hard hit balls yesterday, but his defense made all the plays. Speaking of Cub lefties, a former Cub pitcher, Glendon Rush, in the ballpark tonight. Always great to see Glendon. And right in front of him in the gray shirt, that's his son Cade. So.
Yeah, Glendon rocking the Cub colors tonight as well.
Absolutely. Good guy. One of the best. All right, so I'm going to give you the list I came up with during the break.
Okay.
All right.
I came up with one too.
All right,
that I
so
like.
there's 6 on the list. We've got Lester, Scherzer, Greinke, Bartolo Colon has to be.
Yeah.
Right. Cole Hamels and Jay Happ would be 2 others I'm considering.
I thought Gio Gonzalez.
Okay. So
those guys are all in the mix.
Yeah, so we got to come up with Lester, Scherzer, Greinke, Colon, Sabathia, Happ, Hamels, Gonzalez. 6 of the 8. I'm going to say no CC.
I don't know if Jay Happ ever won 15 in the NL. He won 12 his rookie year with the Phillies.
So we'll take him off. So we'll go Gio, Hamels, Colon, Greinke, Scherzer, Lester.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't let me forget to get back to it. 2-2 on Kyle Hendricks.
Josh, please make sure someone sends pictures of Tom bag of groceries.
Called strike 3. Second punch out for Harvey.
Folks, the Budweiser Concert Series at Gallagher Way presents their second show tomorrow night, featuring XRT favorites Big Head Todd and the Monsters. Come out and enjoy a great night of music. Tickets are just $28. Gates open at 6:30. Details can be found at GallagherWay.com/events. Those guys will be there.
Bryant got hit, did not swing. Hopefully he's okay as he'll reach.
Hopefully the meaty part of the hand, but there's so much in play there with the wrist and the fingers. And he's been hit a lot this year.
League leading 11th hit by pitch. So that leads the National League. C.J. Cron of the Rays leading the majors with 13. One out base runner now. Hayward. He singled in the first.
Jason really been good the other way, covering fastballs. He's been pretty aggressive too. A couple years back, you could almost always count on him taking that first pitch, but started to change that up last year.
Our Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage. I could watch this throw and tag over and over again. What a thing of beauty.
Just excellent work on both ends. You see it time and time again from both those guys, frankly. It's not just the arm strength, but the accuracy for Jason. Probably on his way to another Gold Glove. It just takes great concentration for a catcher on that play too, because you know there's the chance there's going to be some contact. You're not sure exactly where the base runner is. You're kind of feeling it. A lot of guys will look away, find the base runner, and end up making the play on the throw.
Suarez a backhand, off balance throw, safe. Votto came off the base. That'll be a hit for Hayward.
Well, kind of a shift hit there as well.
I think Votto thinks he's out. Votto didn't take a look back and started to throw the ball around the horn. He came off.
Yeah.
And the Reds will not challenge.
Jeremy Rehack, the rookie umpire down there at first, had a great look at it, made an emphatic safe call.
Okay, Joey did see that it wasn't.
Tremendous umpiring mechanics there. He was dabbing.
Hayward is 2 for 2.
Isn't that a dab?
A dab?
Yeah.
Okay.
The kids, all the kids were doing it a couple of years ago.
Okay. I've never heard of it.
You're not hip like me.
No, that's true. 1-0 to Baez. Battling through a sore left thumb, sore left elbow. Fastball missed outside. It's 2-0. Baez has taken a few walks here lately. Last 9 games, 10 hits, 4 walks for an OBP of over 500. Let's see what he gets on 2-0. Well, he got a fastball. It was near the outside, and he did not swing at it. 2-1.
And pitcher's pitch down and on the corner.
Cubs have multiple base runners for the first time tonight. And that shot into the right field corner could score a couple. Bryant scores. Hayward will be sent by Brian Butterfield. The relay throw is late. And Baez will stand at third. Cubs lead 2-0. Baez will be credited with a double.
Well, and we talked about this first time up, using the whole field here lately. Yesterday was on the pull side, but he's been doing a lot of good work the other way. Carves this one into the right field corner to drive in 2. He's now tied with Anthony for the club lead at 48. KB and Hayward, and it was just really good base running by Baez. He watched that play unfold. He took a pretty aggressive turn of second base, but it wasn't until he saw the attempted tag that he went ahead and took off for third. Wants him here. He's breaking it down, and then as he sees the play develop at home, he knows there's going to be a chance to make a play, so off he goes.
Infield in against Anthony Rizzo, and he fouls away. So Baez now with 48 RBIs to tie Rizzo for the team lead.
Rizzo with a golden opportunity to reclaim that lead, with the infield pulled halfway in. Ouch.
That ball hit Rizzo, so he's hit 2 in the inning.
Trying to bury a slider down and in, I think, with the back leg.
Danny Darwin, the pitching coach, will head out for a visit.
Danny took over. He was working down at Double-A. When they fired Brian Price, they made a change of pitching coach as well. Darwin pitched for 109 years in the major leagues. Old school, hard-nosed guy, and a good guy to have on your staff. I mean, with his experience, obviously hyperbole, but he did pitch a long time in the big leagues in a lot of different roles: a starter, short relief, long relief, whatever you need me to do, guys.
Play it. Double play depth now with runners at first and third, and a strike to Russell. Time for Lowe's whole team together. Run differential, the Cubs leading the National League. That was going into tonight, so right now they're plus 101. Outside for a ball. Slider is high.
You can see with Harvey under duress here, and this is what happens when, as a pitcher, you're going bad. And things start to go against you, give up a couple runs, then you start to try to overthrow, try to throw the perfect slider. The front side flies open. You try to find a little extra velocity. You misfire. Looking at his usage, and behind in the count, I think he was over 70% fastball, so you become a little predictable too.
Russell, ooh, he held. That could be a break.
A little anxious here, but able to check.
He did. Good call. Jeremy Rehack with the call. And no dab.
No dab.
Swing and a miss. It is 3-2. Joe send Rizzo here.
Harvey a notch below league average in terms of his ground ball rate, so you're not overly concerned about that. I think he looks go-ish though.
He takes off. He will still try to turn it, and they will. And there's a big bear hug from Rizzo to Jeanette as they meet up at second base. Cubs get the lead on the Baez double, 2-0.
All military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back here in Cincinnati, the Cubs strike first. 2-run double, Javier Baez. So Kyle Hendricks will work to Matt Harvey, and a strike.
That little toddler was conflicted. The Cub hat, the Reds jersey.
Well, no matter what happens tonight, happiness. Two, says Jordan Baker.
Big Jordan, what is he, 6'8"?
Yep, 6'7", 6'8", something around there. Got him.
The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Cubs are represented on this year's squad by voting at Cubs.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 17th from the nation's capital.
Billy Hamilton has 7 hits over his last 3 games. And a cut and a miss. Game 1 of a doubleheader on May 19th against the Cubs. He took a bases loaded walk in the bottom of the 11th to win it. And his game is speed and defense. On a line to the shortstop, Russell. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago Cubs into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Peraza got hit by a pitch in the first inning to extend his on-base streak to 21 games.
Got him in a trade with the Dodgers a couple of years back.
He has replaced Zach Cozart. As the Red shortstop. And a base hit through the hole into left.
Well, that's the reputation he brought with him to the big leagues, the ability to put the barrel on the ball. He's not going to hit for a bunch of power, nor is he going to draw a lot of walks, but he should hit for a fairly high average.
Now Indiana native Tucker Barnhart won the Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, every aspect of the defensive part of the game he's good at. Catch and throw, framing pitches, works really well with the pitching staff. Well, we moved on from Devin Mesoraco, who 2-3 years ago looked like he was about to blossom into a star. Then he had all kinds of injury problems. And he went to the Mets in the Matt Harvey deal. Barnhart has taken over everyday duties here.
Peraza runs. The pitch is a strike. The throw is right on the money.
Peraza pointing into the dugout saying this one might be worth a look. It was a slow curveball, tough pitch to handle, but Contreras got off a very strong throw. It looked to me with the naked eye that he was going to beat it.
They will challenge, so the Reds think he did steal the bag. Boy, what a great throw. And they'll take a look at it in New York.
It looked like he got in there as Addy went to swipe the tag. He kind of bounced off the ground. It looked to me like the foot got to the bag just before Addison was able to apply the tag. But yeah, that throw was, I mean, you can't make a better throw.
Typically you challenge it this early on a play like that, you're pretty convinced that you're going to get it overturned.
Yeah, I think you got to be about 80-20 at this stage of the ball game. And
if it's a stolen base, it'll be the 10th for Peraza.
Arm strength for Wilson is one of the strongest in the league. He's not the quickest in terms of his transfer, and so he could even get a little bit better. The point is this, as the viewing continues, if you're Kyle, you might want to throw a pitch or two.
It'd be cool if the hold music they have for the umpires, they'd play it here at the ballpark.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe they're playing Foreigner on the. Please hold. Or maybe to you in the order in which the call was received.
Maybe they ask him. As we review this replay, would you like to hear classic rock?
Press
Easy
one.
Listening. A short narration of the life and times of Bruce Fleming.
I think we've got an answer. Typically, hands on the headphones means the answer has arrived, and it is a stolen base.
Two minutes 27 seconds to determine that Peraza was safe on this stolen base at second. It was close. It looked like it was going to be overturned, and indeed it was. So Hendricks has to deal with a man in scoring position with 2 outs, 1-1 on Barnhart.
The pitch. He is down 2-1.
Belly play on the infield. Got to leave your feet to knock it down here.
Right in the middle. 2-2. Pirates getting hammered by the Diamondbacks in Pittsburgh tonight. 8-0 in the fourth inning. They're just underway in Milwaukee. Cardinals got a run in the top of the first as they start a 4-game series. In the dirt. I suppose the best result this weekend would be a 2-2 split for the Cubs, right? But the Cardinals and Brewers kind of beat up on each other. Still probably too early to just root for Milwaukee to lose and not St. Louis. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
I concur.
Cubs lead 2-0. And the Bulls just made their first pick in tonight's NBA draft. Let's get the update from Mark Shanowski. Fourth inning. 6, 7, 8 for the visitors, starting with Kyle Schwarber. Jose Quintana against Luis Castillo tomorrow night. The Cubs still aren't sure who will start for them on Saturday. Wait to see in terms of the weather the next couple of days, bullpen usage. Remember, Tyler Chatwood's wife is due with a child, so that could affect things this weekend as well.
Yeah.
So right now the Cubs are still TBD for both Saturday and Sunday.
It'll be partly determined by what happens with the bullpen over the next couple of days.
Probably think Luke Farrell would be a candidate if he is not needed the next couple of nights. But the priority is always to win that night's game. You can't worry about 2 days from now or tomorrow. 1-2 on Schwarber.
Yeah, it might make sense to get somebody up here from AAA just on standby. And Luke, who made a few appearances for the Reds last year.
Soft liner right to Hamilton. We are celebrating student athletes who demonstrate determination, perseverance, and serve as a positive influence in their communities through sports. Nominate someone you know now at NBCSports.com/fairplay. Contreras fouled to first in the second. One thing to watch for in this series defensively, you mentioned Barnhart's defensive work. These two catchers backpick a lot. Contreras does it more than any catcher in the league, and Barnhart among the leaders in throws to bases as well.
And last year Barnhart led the league in caught stealing percentage, 44%, way above league average.
A couple of dudes who like to throw. Foul pop up. Otto trying to find some room, but he cannot. Michael Wacha goes to the DL. He has suffered an oblique injury in the Cardinal game yesterday.
Yeah, that Cardinal pitching staff, man, they've had a slew of injuries. Actually done a pretty good job covering it.
Yes, they have. Starting rotation has been their strength. Harvey fires. Strike three called. We're out number two.
Cub fans, everybody in summer has finally arrived, and the best place to spend your summer weekends is at Wrigley Field. Plan now and get tickets to weekend matchups against the Reds, Cardinals, and Padres, and support your Cubs to another division title. Visit Cubs.com and place your orders today.
Not a big crowd tonight. I would imagine attendance will grow as the weekend moves along. Busy weekend in Cincinnati. I'm told all the hotels are packed. And as always, we see a lot of blue when we come here.
Yeah, here in the ballpark and roaming around downtown. Maybe some kind of a pork fest or something like that going on.
Oh, 2 to Happ. He strikes out as Harvey put one right on the inside corner. Cubs go in order for the first time tonight. Sports Chicago premieres a special documentary on the state of youth sports in America titled Fair Play. Before they were major leaguers with the Cubs, players like this young man were simply kids being kids, playing all sorts of sports. Can you guess who this young Cubs personality is?
And there's a clue in there too.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could it be? Or
Don't let the bat fool you.
or
Strike on Votto. Oh, and 2.
floated that one in there. Good movement on the two-seamer. It's got Votto taking a little walk and think. Watch the movement.
Call strike 3. How about that?
Well, who was this mystery man?
What's the hint?
The Texas Ranger hat. See the T there?
Yeah, but
That's who he started with.
yeah, but I'm right.
Yeah.
He happened to be what, 11?
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
funny.
say it was a great hint.
No. The documentary Fair Play Youth Sports in America takes an inside look at the multifaceted world of organized sports, premiering Friday, June 29th at 7:30 p.m. right here on NBC Sports Chicago. 2 quick outs.
Would have been better if he had like a calculator or a slide rule in his pocket.
He's seeking his first 1-2-3 inning. Backhanded play. Bryant's got a long throw and he makes it. No problem. We head off to the 5th. Kyle Hendricks with a 2-0 lead. Grant Park, August 2nd through the 5th. NBC Sports Chicago is giving you a chance to win a pair of tickets. Enter for your chance to win at NBCSportsChicago.com/lala. Two nothing Cubs lead. Harvey to Hendricks. That reminds you of Harvey Haddix, doesn't it?
Yeah, I keep thinking of the Honeymooners every time I hear Harvey, because Ralph got into one of those episodes. He got into a little dust up with a fella named Harvey. Harvey Haddix would be more germane to what's going on here tonight. That being baseball.
See, what I think when we see Matt is you, Lee Harvey, are a madman. I want to party with you, cowboy.
He's being very, very particular here with Hendricks up there, picking away at that outside corner.
Base hit into center.
Oh boy, Kyle, work the count, deliver a knock.
He's got a decent swing. Good athlete. Came into the game career .095. It's just weird to see Chris Bryant bat behind Kyle Hendricks. Well, he's ahead of him. He's the leadoff man, but fourth consecutive game Chris has batted leadoff.
The Cubs are celebrating Bud Fridays in the Budweiser bleachers all season long. On Friday, the 29th of June, Cubs play the Twins. First pitch 4:05, and up to the first 5,000 early arriving adults 21 and older in the Budweiser bleachers receive a Cubs mesh cap presented by Budweiser. For details, visit Cubs.com/Fridays.
He got him. So for Harvey tonight, that is his fifth strikeout. The last four have been looking.
This time he missed his spot, but got his man. He wanted to go down and away there. Barnhart did, but the ball floated back over the plate, top of the zone, and he got the call.
Hayward 2 for 2. Infield hit and a run. He's 3 for 3. Best swing of the night.
Well, the way he's been going, you throw it right there, you might as well put it on a tee. Now to third, up above the knees a little bit. We've seen a whole bunch of this lately. A rocket to left.
Baez knocked in 2 with a double in the third, giving the Cubs their current margin. 5 times now Hayward has compiled 3 hits, popped up. Infield fly rule in effect, and Jeanette will make the grab, even though he didn't have to. Outfielders, though, tend to panic when they think they're not going to catch the ball, even though it's already an out. So he could have just not panicked and let it drop, but he didn't. It's like, you know, when you give your dog a treat after a walk, and another one kind of falls out of the jar. Dog's not going to not eat it. It's just what dogs do. Infielders catch pop-ups, right?
Yeah, that's right. Instincts kick in.
The last time you saw a dog say, I only deserved one, so I'm going to give this one back.
Yeah, you flip a treat at your dog and say, let it go, let it go. Probably not going to happen.
So I wanted you to answer the question I kind of threw out there earlier about what the Cubs would hope for in the Brewers Cardinals series. Because the easy thing would be you want the Cardinals to sweep because they're 4.5 out, but are we still too early to start rooting for and against certain teams?
Yeah,
I think a 2-2 split is probably what you would hope for.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would agree with that. And
we take care of business here.
I'll let
and
you know
hope they go 2-2.
I'll let you know better in like September 30th.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. But if one team had to win the series, you'd probably prefer the Cardinals, based on the current standings.
Cardinals 4.5 games back. Cubs Brewers in a virtual tie, just percentage points separating the two.
I'm reminded on Twitter that dogs can't talk, so they probably would not tell you that. Theoretically true, although you don't know my dogs.
Yeah, in their own little way they might. They can communicate. So the NL Central, in the last 10 days or so, nobody's really taken off. The Reds are playing the best over the last 10. They're 6-4. They've won 6 of their last 8.
I just got a tweet from Patrick who said, thanks, Len. He said, treat and walk simultaneously on the air. Now my dog's excited.
Dog running
Sorry,
through the door.
I apologize, Patrick.
With a leash in his mouth.
A bounding ball to Jeanette down to a knee, and the Reds will get out of it. 2-0 Cubs. I'm hungry for a treat.
Good boy. Good boy.
David Kaplan and David DeJesus for a special edition of Fields Auto Cubs pregame live on location from the North End, presented by Miller Lite. Coverage begins at 8:30 on NBC Sports Chicago. Two zip, Cubs lead in the series opener. They lead the season series 3-2. Jesse Winker will lead it off against Kyle Hendricks, who's been very good tonight. Also has a hit at the plate, and he picked up that single after we showed him with a bat from his Little League days.
Hey, there's some Bulls fans here.
They're excited about the
What'd they pick?
Bulls draft pick. Wendell Carter from Duke. He's tall. I'm told he's really good at basketball. Well,
good luck,
he's going to
Wendell
make
Carter.
a lot of money soon.
Good luck, Bulls, with that pick. Hopefully it works. I don't know anything about the draft. Well, what Mel Kiper had to say about him, but I think he's a versatile performer with a high ceiling.
Two and 0. Don't have all the numbers here, but it doesn't feel like Kyle's worked behind in the count very often tonight.
No, usually if he misses with the 0-0, he usually manages to come back and throw a strike, and that's oftentimes that's what a pitching coach is pushing, throw strikes on 2 of the first 3. And there's so much emphasis on first pitch strikes, and he's delivered that 9 out of 14 times so far tonight.
42 of his 60 pitches through 4 innings were strikes. He just walked the leadoff man, Winker. You can follow our Cubs insiders on NBCSportsChicago.com. Presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. So Kyle hit Peraza to start the game. Gave up a leadoff single to Suarez in the second. A 2-out hit to Peraza in the third, and now this leadoff walk to Winker in the fifth. Duvall takes a strike.
And after the Suarez base hit in the second, and you got Winker to ground into a 4-6-3 double play.
Popped him up. Shallow center field. Russell's got a beat on it, but it'll be Happ's ball. And it is the pitcher, Harvey.
What do you do if you're Jim Riggleman? Do you have Harvey bunt here, put a man into scoring position, give Billy Hamilton a 208 hitter a chance to drive him in, or do you let Harvey swing, risk grounding into an inning-ending double play?
There's the bunt. Throw goes to second for one. Relay. Double play. Wow. Love the aggressive nature of Wilson Contreras as the Cubs turn a 2-6-4 double play. Man, has it been fun watching this defense. for the Miller Lite Hold True moment.
That bunt usually good enough to get it done, but Contreras quick like a cat to start the double play, and that was a great look at it from that camera angle. Saw Winker, even after Rizzo had left to charge, he really did not take a very aggressive secondary lead. There was no reason not to. There are times with Contreras back there where you don't want to drift too far off the base for fear of being picked off, but Anthony was long gone, and Winker held his ground and actually started to lean back towards first base a little bit. Bad base running by the rookie Winker. Look at him. He's flat-footed, and Anthony's long gone. 87-mile-an-hour heater from Contreras down to second base.
Typically, you don't want your pitchers overexerting themselves. Don't want them injuring themselves, but you could see Harvey kind of halfway down the line thought, uh-oh, I better get moving here. And it was too late at that point.
Freddie Benavides, the first base coach for the Reds, will have a chat with Winker at some point, or Jimmy Riggleman will.
Fouled off by Russell, who has walked and hit into a double play. Harvey has completed 6 innings just twice in his first 7 starts with the Reds.
Did it once with the Mets as well.
The pitch is popped up back toward the seats as Russell shakes that left hand. Remember, he injured his finger earlier this season. Pretty recently, in fact. Remember I said it yesterday or the day before. I think it was when Taylor bounced that ball off his ankle. All these little things you tend to forget, but players don't because they feel them. And those things linger for a while.
A lot of times the hand, the wrist, the fingers, it's the swing and miss and the follow through. We're still rushing it up there. That one at 97.
Harvey's been decent. Hendricks has been better so far. Called strike 3.
Another strikeout looking. 5 times that's happened here tonight, and that's when you're painting, when you get work deep counts and you're able to pick out a corner or get a call just off the corner. That's what you're going to get.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, I see. I think there's an ad on the batter's eye. Yeah, there's an ad on the batter's eye right there that they're trying to make sure they turn off. You can only have that on between innings.
The try health there.
There you go.
There.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay, let's let Addison hit again. Let's have a do-over. It's only fair.
Yeah, lots of window shopping for Cubs batters tonight. To borrow an old Ernie Harwell phrase.
Well, that's 3 swings on first pitches from Kyle here tonight. Normally sees a lot of pitches. He had a first pitch changeup for his home run to center field in the ball game yesterday.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Last year he slugged over 1,200 on the first pitch. That's double the league average, and it led the majors. In the last 25 games, he is slugging 2,200 on the first pitch.
Yeah, so
when he does swing and make contact, he does damage.
Well, and the other thing, he's it's not like he's just going up there flailing away. He swings at strikes. He goes out of the zone less frequently than any Cub hitter.
Couple of bounces to Votto.
If folks are inclined, there's a pretty good video. I think it's on YouTube of is it David Letterman and Jerry Seinfeld talking about Joey Votto?
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
It's pretty good. Letterman's got that interview show, and he had Seinfeld on, and somehow they got talking about Dave being at a game, and Votto was there, and Votto came over and thanked him for coming, and they had a long chat, or at least a chat, and Letterman was just kind of blown away by that, and Seinfeld said the same thing happened to him, but it was just kind of funny.
Was part of the story that he didn't recognize one of them?
No, I think the joke was mostly Seinfeld just busting on Letterman like, well, of course, you're David Letterman. Of course he's going to come and say hi, you idiot. He said, call him an idiot.
Just missed. Votto carrying on a conversation with some fans.
Yeah, it's beginning to become a thing. Votto's interaction with the fans, home and road. Well, he made some noise earlier this year, frustrated. The Reds have not been a competitive team for a while now, and it feels like the ownership owes it to the fans here to step it up. So Michael Lorenzen warming up.
There's a line drive, first one in a while for Wilson, but it results in an out. Cubs lead 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
Take on the Tigers. The first pitch is at 120, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a fun Cubs-themed Hawaiian shirt presented by NBC Sports Chicago. Good seats are still available for the game. Visit Cubs.com today. Oh, that's must-have. You might be rocking that on the air for the next month.
And make sure you come on out. That's a 2-game series versus Detroit. 121st pitch, July 3rd and July 4th. Hey, the scoreboard stumper here in Cincinnati was active. 6 pitchers with a 15-win season in both leagues, and we pretty much got it.
Yeah.
Cologne, Greinke, Scherzer, Lester, Hamels, and Gonzalez. Typically, Jamie Ramsey's questions will have a connection to either the Reds and or their opponent that night. So John Lester was pretty easy answer to get that one started. Don't want to do that. Not to Billy Hamilton. There's Jamie. Hi, Jamie. He can't hear us. He knows music too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Always has some good suggestions on what to listen to. So let's see how aggressive Hamilton is on first base. He's got 13 steals so far this year.
He's been caught 3 times. Hendricks does a very good job holding base runners. The challenge here for Kyle is to do your due diligence with Hamilton without letting it upset your pitching rhythm too much.
And not only is he fast, but largely successful when he runs. He's got a big lead.
A couple of seasons in the minor leagues with over 100 stolen bases. He doesn't slug, but he can turn a walk into a triple in a hurry.
There he goes. The throw is late. So that was basically a pitch out, and he still beat the throw. That's how fast he is.
Yeah, he got a great jump too. I mean, speed obviously is the difference maker, but in this instance, he got a really good jump. He was going before first move here. And then strong throw from Contreras made it close.
A 1-0 pitch to Peraza is fouled away. Fun little on this date tweet from baseball's Hall of Fame. 30 years ago today, June 21st, 1988, new Hall of Famer Alan Trammell with a walk-off grand slam to beat the Yankees. The Tigers were down 6-1 with 2 outs in the 9th inning. They won the game 7-6 at old Tiger Stadium. We do that win probability thing.
Yeah.
Baseball Reference has it on their play-by-play for the box scores. What would your win probability be down 6-1 with 2 outs in the 9th inning?
2%?
If that. I believe it is very lightly raining.
Well, 10 years after that, in 1998, one of the greatest moments in baseball history, when Jack McKeon, then manager of the Reds, ran out an outfield of Dimitri Young, Michael Frank, and Chris Steins, forming the Young Frankenstein's outfield.
Awesome. Swing and a miss. Peraza with a rare strikeout.
Yeah, that's his best asset is the ability to put the bat on the ball, and Hendricks fools him with an off-speed pitch. Really out of sync and kind of a defensive swing, just trying to make a little contact. Professor took him to school.
want to know is, did Jack know that he was doing that? And was it a random occurrence?
I think it was random. I can't imagine Jack was on top of that.
Hamilton was going to steal third, and Barnhart fouled away.
I called Jason Stark 30 seconds after I read the lineup. I said, "You're not going to believe what's going down in the Dome tonight."
I'm sure he had it in his notes column that week.
We saw the success rate for Hamilton getting third even better than second, even with a left-handed batter up there. And you saw him fly through your picture.
He's going to end up in the Cubs dugout. Schwarber will catch this Barnhart liner. 2 down. Randy Rosario, left-hander who's been very effective since coming up from the minor leagues, gets loose. So pitch count no problem for Kyle. It's more about the score. It's 2-0. Votto represents the tying run.
Another lefty on deck, and Scooter Gennett. Well, Kyle carved him up last time, struck him out looking at a two-seamer. He was hit, I think that's all he threw him in that at bat. Two-seam fastballs that started in and ran back over the plate.
Hey, what you got on this award?
Well, it's the Lou Marsh Award is given annually to the top athlete in Canada, amateur or professional. Votto's won it a couple of times now. Fergie won it. Larry Walker. Lou Marsh was an athlete, referee, and former sports editor of the Toronto Star. Giving that out since 1936.
Yeah, recently on a podcast, Votto had made some critical comments about Canadian baseball and has been profusely apologizing ever since. I know you're a podcast listener. I am too. And what's great about them is celebrities tend to kind of give the interviewers, depending on which podcast it is, really good, right? And really kind of dive into some fun stuff. Yep. But the downside is you almost get too relaxed.
Yeah, you get comfortable.
You give too much stuff, and it tends to look bad. Votto draws the walk. 2 walks in the inning.
That was just an instance where Kyle was not going to give in to Votto with all the success he's had against him.
Doesn't get a lot easier with Gennett coming up. So Gennett's starting the night leading the league in hitting. This is pretty amazing. The last Red to win the batting title in the National League was Pete Rose in 1973. It has been 45 seasons since a Red led the league in hitting. A ground ball toward right.
Over.
And Hamilton, I'm surprised, didn't take a much bigger turn around third with 2 outs. So that'll be a hit, but no run score on the play. That's a big break for Kyle.
Not sharply hit. One of those tweeners. Anthony makes a dive. Javi leaves his feet. And
I don't understand why Hamilton was watching the play.
He should have been much more aggressive coming around the bag here. I think he's looking back over his shoulder.
That is amazing. The Cubs base runners, JD, have gotten so much better at not doing that. Every once in a while a guy will look over his shoulder, but we don't see that very much anymore. The value of having a third base coach is that guy will tell you what to do. But with 2 outs, there's never a reason to look back. And again, he may not have scored, And Billy Hatcher might have been holding him, and he was at that point.
Yeah, well, he had no choice
but
to hold him at that point because Hamilton's peeking over his shoulder. He should have been just sprinting, and Hatch could have come down the line and just had him round the bag, and at least bought a little more time to make a decision.
So Suarez with the bases loaded, and it's 0-2. You have this thing with the balk. Base running is the one for me. I don't know why it offends my sensibilities.
Well,
when guys look.
that thing because that's such an easily fixed issue.
Right. So Kyle trying to get out of this bases loaded spot. Cubs overshifted against Suarez early. They're not doing that here. Baez shaded toward the bag at second, but he's on the right side.
Yeah, he pushed one through there first time up, but that was leading off an inning, and here obviously a single probably scores 2. That's not applied much pressure tonight, so first real crisis situation for Kyle in this game. Reds have hit 5 grand slams this year. Second best in the major leagues behind the Red Sox. Red Sox hit 6, I think, in April.
Knocked down by Contreras.
Suarez is tough, man. He's dangerous. He's a good breaking ball hitter. It's the old whatever you do, you don't want to hang it spiked changeup.
Full. Go time for the runners with 2 outs.
I wonder if it feels like he's got him slowed down enough with the off-speed pitch where he might be able to sneak a fastball by him, or at least get a little bit of a late swing on a fastball away. A little lazy fly ball to right.
And it's 2-1.
Hump up.
A lot of guys swing at that pitch. Suarez did not. And he'll pick up his 55th RBI. And it's a 1-run ball game. And the batter is Jesse Winker. So a decision here for Joe Madden. He's got Rosario ready.
Yeah, I like the idea of going fastball there. And I think Kyle just reached back for a little something extra and lost command.
Biggest regret from my viewpoint is Hamilton should not have scored. He didn't deserve to. Is that harsh? Maybe. That's okay, Billy.
Gave away his shot.
Yeah. 2-1 in the 6th. Referee's call to the pen, official external pain relief of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs' 18-inning scoreless streak just came to an end, and Randy Rosario is on to face Jesse Winker. Bases loaded. One-run ball game now.
Yeah, Randy Rosario's done a very nice job, and again with Morrow down and CJ on the DL. Important innings for some of these other guys in the bullpen, and Rosario has answered the call. Four right-handed bats on the bench for the Reds, but Jim Riggleman trusts Winker to get something done here.
And Rosario wants to chat with Contreras, and this is certainly worth using one of your mound visits. Huge spot in the ball game.
Yeah, and that was a little scary there too. Some umpires really look for a box, and that was just a little wonky looking, but absolutely worth the conversation to make sure you're on the same page here. Winker's a rookie. Good bat control, good patience. You're gonna have to make pitches.
Outside, ball one. By the way, I did not get your Hamilton reference earlier because I haven't seen the play, but those who did, enjoyed it. Uh-oh, that is major trouble, and a grand slam for Winker.
Well, that'll put a dent in the, well, Kyle's runs just for one belonging to Rosario, and what was a very good night for Kyle Hendricks has gone sour here in a hurry. Center cut, forward home run replay. That's Winker going deep for the fourth time this year. We talked about his plate discipline, his patience. There is some thump in that bat.
All of a sudden, the Cubs trail 5-2. Hendricks charged with 4 runs. Duvall with a base hit. First career grand slam for Jesse Winker. Alex Blandino will hit from Matt Harvey, who can get the win. Well, that changed in a hurry.
Yeah, sure did. And 3 walks in the inning from Kyle, and you're going to have to look long and hard to find an occasion when that has happened in the past.
Harvey goes 6. He outlasted Hendricks. I said earlier he was decent, but Hendricks was better. But by the end of their outings, it was reversed. And now Rosario trying to get it back together after giving up the home run, a single, and he's 2-0 on Blandino.
The good thing about it is the Cubs still have 3 cracks at the Reds bullpen. They've been a little bit better than the starters, but not a whole lot better. And in this ballpark, things can happen in a hurry, as we just witnessed.
Hamilton, who started it with a walk, is on deck.
And that's the irony, right? One of the best control pitchers in the game walks the guy who everybody says, whatever you do, don't walk Billy Hamilton. Stuff happens.
Yep. Bounced foul. Full count on the pinch hitter Blandino. No time for Duvall. And we'll repeat.
Blandino has been their most used pinch hitter. He's 5 out of 15 in the pinch.
Meanwhile, the Brewers are leading the Cardinals 6-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Cubs and Brewers in a virtual first place tie. Cubs percentage points ahead starting the night.
Blandino's 0 for his last 18.
Well, he's giving Rosario a pretty good battle. That will be a base hit. Everything going the Reds' way here in the bottom of the 6th. And here's Hamilton again. And referencing his base running earlier, Billy Hamilton, a great base runner, great base stealer. He has not hit at the big league level. He probably should have already won a Gold Glove in center. He's as good as it gets running down fly balls in the outfield. Former shortstop. And he has batted 9th more than any player in baseball this year. His major league leading 52nd start, batting 9th as Jim Hickey will head out to the mound. You know, part of my issue earlier with the base running to third is on a play like that, you know, a lot of guys like Billy Hamilton, I think Javi Baez comes to mind. Their thought is, I don't care if it's an infield hit or not, I'm scoring.
Well, I think a lot of guys, the mindset is, I'm going to force the third base coach to stop.
Right.
You know, that's, you're in go mode till you see the stop sign.
That's a base hit. Another run in. 6-2. Hamilton on base twice here in the 6th.
Just about all this damage coming with 2 outs.
All of it, right?
All of it, yeah. Yep. The lead walk, then 2 outs. Walk, single walk, home run, single, single, single. And Hamilton better up than down. Pitches up, especially from the right side, up above the belt. He usually puts a pretty good swing on it.
Yeah, so it all started with Votto in terms of reaching base after 2 out. Walk, infield hit, bases loaded walk, grand slam, 3 consecutive singles.
Yeah,
this inning has just blown up.
And I can tell you what's going through Kyle's mind right now, that he was, you know, so careful with Votto, with Hamilton out there in scoring position. They didn't want to give in to him, and so often that's the root of the big inning.
You mentioned earlier the Reds are playing good baseball. They're looking for their 4th consecutive win and 7 out of their last 9. They have the worst record in the NL, but that's largely due to their awful start.
3-game winning streak, and they scored 8, 9, and then 5 runs in those 3 ball games, and winning 6 out of 8 and 44 runs. A bunch of guys that are swinging it well.
But the key for them tonight is they got a quality start from Matt Harvey and gave their offense a chance. First home run allowed by Rosario in 13 appearances with the Cubs.
Left-handed batters were 2 for 21 against him coming into this outing tonight.
On the ground right to Russell. Throw will go to first. And the inning's finally over. They put up a 6 spot. The grand slam by Winker, the big one. Chatting with Randy Rosario after Randy gave up the grand slam. Good move by a veteran player. Now Joe Madden has a quick word with Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, before Ian Happ leads off. Michael Lorenzen is in to pitch.
He missed a bunch of time with a long stint on the DL, 10 appearances so far, and he's been good. Real hard thrower. Easy 96. Outstanding athlete, could swing the bat as well. Philip Irvin takes over in right.
He just joined their roster, and Scott Schebler going to the bereavement list. Some work to do here in the late innings against their bullpen. Fouled away by Ian. 1-2 to count. That Harvey start, representing the Reds' third consecutive quality start. That is the longest such streak they've had this season. As Happ grounds out.
Get ready to rock at the friendly confines. Def Leppard and Journey will take the stage on Saturday, July 14th. With special guests, the Pretenders. Don't miss out as these legendary rock bands make their heavy metal debut at historic Wrigley Field. Tickets on sale now, Cubs.com/concerts.
Tommy La Stella off the Cubs bench. Takes ball one. He bats for Rosario. Rosario gets a blown save. Hendricks now the pitcher of record, even though those runs were given up after he left the game. Tapper foul. That's Rob Zastryzny up in the Cubs bullpen. He got the win in Game 2 of the doubleheader Tuesday night. Lined and caught by the shortstop Peraza.
On a line, but not really squared up. Lorenzen first came to the big leagues in 2015, primarily as a starting pitcher. Did not have success and some injury issues. Made the move to the bullpen. They weren't sure what to do him because he's such a good hitter that they like the idea of starting him and having an extra hitter in the lineup when he pitches. And they've used him as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, I was just thinking. And the ground ball fair. And Bryant beats it out. Infield hit for Chris Bryant.
You better come with a sense of urgency with Bryant going down the line. There wasn't a whole lot Suarez could have done. First hit, second reach of the night for Chris. Get a good look there at that ball. Just fair, just over the bag.
If all major league pitchers competed in a fitness test, do a sprint, do a long run, do some weight stuff, do all of that stuff, I'm guessing Michael Lorenzen would rank very highly.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
He just is a great athlete. He's 6'3", 217. Pick up basketball, do all of that stuff.
Yeah, there was a note here in their notes.
He was an outfielder too in college.
Yeah, he has hit the hardest ball ever by a Reds hitter since they started tracking this exit velocity stuff a couple of years back.
Interesting.
So ever is a short window, but
right.
Hardest ever by a Red player, and hardest ball ever hit again in the, I guess they call it the StatCast era. I think 2015 maybe.
Wow.
Hardest of any major league pitcher. 116 mile an hour base hit off Tyler Anderson.
Amir Garrett popping the mid out there in the bullpen. Want to send out a happy 22nd birthday wish to Ryan Reed watching tonight.
Well, 4 out of 11 against Lorenzen, 3 out of 3 here tonight. Longwood would play nicely.
Hit well. Hamilton won't get it. He's 4 for 4. Bryant to third, held by Brian Butterfield. 3 singles and a double for Jason Hayward.
Down 4 runs, no need to push it there with KB. And this ball again blistered. Hamilton plays a very shallow center field. It wouldn't have mattered unless he was starting with his heels on the warning track. He probably wasn't going to catch that one.
Danny Darwin out to talk it over. Cubs down 4, but a 2-out rally here in the 7th.
Make sure they're on the same page here with how they want to attack Javi. Garrett getting ready for Rizzo.
A little subtle play by Hamilton, just making sure Bryant didn't score. 2 outs, a guy with pretty good speed at first on a double. A lot of times that guy scores, but Hamilton was able to get it back in quickly. Those are the types of plays Jason Hayward makes that go unnoticed in the outfield. Outside on Baez.
You're going to see a lot of spin here, I would think.
He knew he wasn't going to catch it, but he got there quickly, and getting rid of it quickly and accurately are huge keys there. That is a foul ball. Javi didn't run, and it was only foul by a couple feet. Gotta run those out.
I think sometimes a hitter feels the ball come off his bat and thinks it's going way foul, and that one did not.
Another one sliced. Just foul.
Wasn't running that time either.
Big Jared Hughes has joined Garrett. Power forwards up in the Reds bullpen. How did he get a piece of that? That's amazing.
So what do you do with this information if you're the Reds after that swing? Go further out, further down, or go way upstairs with a fastball?
That's impossible. Good maneuvered by Brian Butterfield to duck out of the way.
Kind of a dangerous pitch there. It was down below the knees, but it was on the plate, and probably could reach the one before. That's that one right there. You can do a little damage with, and you see Barnhart was going way off the outside corner, so he wanted that slider way out of the zone. Lorenzen missed his spot, but it was down. He got away with it.
2-2. Barnhart will head out.
Been a long sequence. There's a man on second base. Probably won't flash any signs when he gets back there. Here's what we're going to do. I would think they would take a shot up. I'll be 1 out of 3 with a 2-run double. Big day yesterday. They just keep going with that slider. And again, that's a chase pitch for Javi, but when you throw one after another, it becomes a little easier to lay off. So the question now for Javi is the 3-2 anxiety. A lot of times hitters in this situation will talk themselves into a strike. Yeah, I'm going to get one here. I'll get a little extra aggressive.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, but you're right. 3-2 feels more anxiety filled than 2-2 or 1-2. And he takes it.
Good work.
For ball 4.
Good work.
Terrific plate appearance to load the bases, and the tying run will come up in Anthony Rizzo.
I think they did him a little bit of a favor by staying down throughout. Now, it's a fastball, 2-seamer that he spikes, but after all those breaking balls down, a little bit easier for Javi to lay off of that one. Big chance for Big Riz.
Guessing it'll be against Amir Garrett, the left-hander, when we return. It is time now for the BioFreeze call to the pen, and it is left-hander Amir Garrett, who earlier this season had a little dispute with Javier Baez, and he'll face Anthony Rizzo.
6'5", 230, a 95 slider and a change. I didn't use the change much, and I wouldn't expect him to use it against Rizzo in this situation. Probably fastballs and sliders.
So Rizzo with the bases loaded.
Why not trade grand slams?
3 on, 2 out. And a strike.
Anchor, left-handed batter, got his off the lefty Rosario. They're a former basketball player. Long limbs, man. He's got some long arms.
Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 on Rizzo.
Just doesn't get the foot down in time. A little tardy. Short and quick here. So good at that.
Called strike 3. Fastball at 97. And the Cubs do not score in the 7th. Rizzo asking the bench if it was down. It's 6-2 Cincinnati. Tomorrow the park is gone. Don't miss the movie event of the summer when Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom hits theaters. Left-hander Rob Zastryzny got a win a couple of nights ago. Recently brought up to replace Brian Dunsing, who was placed on the bereavement list.
Former second-round pick of the Cubs, who had been primarily a starting pitcher, has made the move to the bullpen. 2-1, 3.97 ERA, 17 relief appearances down at Iowa. Get a shot at 2-3-4 here in the home 7th.
And Barnhart with those sparkling numbers against lefties, as JD mentioned, hitting .439 right-handed. He did line out in the 6th against Kyle Hendricks to go 0 for 3 on the night. Good breaking ball from Rob Z. 0-2. Well, you hope that's not the last chance the Cubs will have, as Garrett struck out Rizzo to get out of the top of the inning. 1 away.
Kyle Hendricks tonight, 5 2/3, just 3 hits allowed, 4 runs they were earned. He walked 4, so that's 2 consecutive starts. And again, it's not like he had bad command. He's just pitching around Votto there. The walk to Hamilton, again, that's the one that's really going to gnaw at him. He struck out 5.
Yeah, baseball's funny. You look at the big picture. The Cubs have outpitched the Reds by a mile, but not tonight. Awkward swing by Votto.
That's kind of the narrative with the Reds too. When you talk to other people around the game, you know, if they get a credible start, I guess you could say that about any team, but a decent lineup. They're going to have some decisions to make as the trade deadline nears. We talked about Scooter Gennett earlier. Obviously, they could get a pretty good package in return for him, I would think. They've got a kid, Nick Senzel, down in the minor leagues, who's one of the top hitting prospects in the game. He's an infielder. You can see where there'd be some motivation to move Jeanette, get some pitching in here maybe, and
well,
give Senzel a chance.
If Harvey keeps throwing 96 plus, and not to put the cart ahead of the horse, as that ball is lined to Schwarber for the out, because he has not been consistently good yet. But if he puts together a real solid month, what's the incentive for the Reds to hang on to him if they could get anything for him, right? Could turn that into something intriguing. And if you're a contender and you need a 4th or 5th starter, you could do worse than Matt Harvey if he's pitching well. It is starting to rain. Strike called on Jeanette.
It's kind of a fun note on Scooter, trying to become the first second baseman to lead the Reds in hits, runs, and home runs since Bid McPhee did it in 1886.
Yeah, Bid, a Hall of Famer. Baez across the body throw. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's 6-2 Cincinnati. The Cubs hoping to come back against their bullpen here in the late innings. And the rain coming down a lot harder now. So many taking cover. 19,581. Garrett back out to start the 8th against Addison Russell. First pitch is high on a fastball.
Reds over the last 2 or 3 years have brought a lot of young pitching to the big leagues. Very few of them have had success.
Hamilton with 2 hands on it, battling those droplets of rain. Hefty home run leaders. Kyle Schwarber's hit a couple the last 2 days to catch Baez for the team lead.
I love his body language when he comes up to hit. It reminds me of one of those pro wrestlers stomping around the ring like, this is my turf. Tough assignment for a left-handed hitter with his stuff in the angles. like Aroldis Chapman light. And not 104 like Chapman, but 95, 97.
He's got that Chapman build. And he slings it up there. 3-1 on Schwarber. And he walked him.
There's that good discipline. He's going to bite at that fastball just off the edge. Down 4, walk plays. Need traffic.
One and one. Way inside that time. Ian Happ on deck. 4-run ball game in the 8th inning. And the pitch. Line drive caught by Duvall. So Contreras has lined out each of his last 2 at bats. 2 outs in the inning, and it's Happ.
A couple of good swings here for Wilson, but nothing to show for him.
I want to give a shout out to Mario Cosenza, who recently turned 98. Palos Park, Illinois. Actually, I totally blew that. Leonard Pritikin just turned 98. Mario is probably not 98, but he's watching too. So a shout out to both. Base hit for Happ.
Don't miss your chance to add some treasures to your collection of Cubs memorabilia. This week's auction includes autographed 5 by 3 foot Madden art prints. Go to Cubs.com/authentics now through 8 p.m. Sunday the 24th to place your bids. That would be this Sunday. Net proceeds benefit the Cubs Charities Diamond Project.
Nice note from Dick Wysocki from LaPorte, Indiana, as well as Jim Riggleman is going to make a couple of moves here. Now I really want to know how old Mario Cosenza is. Mario, send me another note. Tell me how old you are.
None of your business.
6'2", Reds. in. Here he comes. Reminiscent of Todd Coffey. It is Jared Hughes. He might use a bullpen cart in Arizona, but he'd rather have the cart take him out of the park and then he can run twice as long to get in.
Yeah, he's blowing and going. Now he's probably out of gas. He's a sinker baller. Been around a while now.
It's Brandon Dixon playing second base.
6'7", 240, Jared Hughes. Long run with the Pirates. Last year he was a Brewer. He makes his way around the NL Central.
Did he make some good ales?
I reckon.
Albert Almora off the bench.
Now third in the league in batting average with 324 behind Jeanette and Freddie Freeman. Matt Kemp was leading the league, but the Cubs shut him down in that 3-game set at Wrigley.
Two and the pitch. He got him. So Hughes comes in and strikes out the pinch hitter Almora. Cubs have stranded 5 over the last 2 innings. Of the 8th. We mentioned the Cardinals and Brewers are opening up a 4-game weekend. Jesus Aguilar at the plate against Carlos Martinez in the first. Marcell Ozuna thought he was going to have to steal away a home run, and the ball hit the bottom of the fence. That scored a couple runs, gave the Brewers the lead, and it's now 7-2 Milwaukee in the 7th inning there. So Carlos Martinez has really struggled since coming back from injury. He only went 4 innings tonight, gave up 7 runs, 5 earned.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he did tonight, but command has really been bad. A lot of walks, a lot of deep counts.
He walked 6 in his last start against the Cubs. Walked 2 tonight. Justin Hancock, the new Cubs pitcher. Almora playing center for Happ. Fly ball out into deep right, but Hayward will make the catch for the out.
Hancock was added to the roster for the doubleheader the other day, so he thought he was just going to come up, be here for a day, and go back to AAA. Morrow went on the DL. Brian Dunsing is on the bereavement list. Hancock's still a big leaguer. This is appearance number 10 for him.
First at bat for Phillip Ervin tonight. Just joined their roster. Winker hit a grand slam in the 6th to give them the lead. Backhanded play by Bryant.
He's made a few errors this year, but overall he's played a very good third base. And throws, right? Remember a couple years ago he was having some throwing issues. Ball would sail on him a little bit. And had that, a little tap, and sometimes the footwork would get out of sync. But now let's just take a look at it and turn it loose. Two outstanding plays in the ball game yesterday.
Duvall fouls to the screen.
Nationals beat Baltimore 4-2 tonight. Now Herrera, the newly acquired reliever from the Royals, got the win in relief. Doolittle his 20th save. Anthony Rendon hit his 7th home run.
Easy play for Hayward. And it's a nice 1-2-3 for Hancock. So last chance for the Cubs in the 9th. Top of the order. Presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. This was the big blow, so it's Jesse Winker. Benny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs.
Jim Riggleman allowed the left-handed batting Winker to take that AB against the lefty Rosario, and he delivered.
Hughes to Bryant. Bounding ball foul. If the Reds hang on, this season series will be tied at 3 apiece. All the games played here. The final 10 will be in Chicago. Justin Case, Raisel Iglesias. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Down, down, down from Hughes. Sinkers and sliders, almost everything dipping down below the knees. Might have been a changeup.
The Cubs come here in April, May, and June. The Reds come to Chicago July, August, and September. Kind of funky. Four for 4 night for Hayward. Unfortunately, right now his team down 4 runs. His batting average continues to climb. Jason at 284. He started the night at 269. Looking for his first 5-hit game in 3 years. Remember how tough an out he was for the Cardinals in the division series in 2015. And he looks like that guy again here lately at the plate.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, you know, for a guy who has really struggled for the better part of 2 years to fight the way he has fought and work as hard as he has to get to this point.
It'll be a 4 for 5 night as he grounds out. And the Cubs down to their final out. Jose Quintana, Luis Castillo tomorrow night. Hughes to Baez. Swing and a miss. And a slider. There's Mr. Quintana. Well, 30 years ago, the Detroit Tigers were down.
Yeah,
6-1 and won 7-6 over the Yanks.
Don't put those bats away yet.
1-2 to Baez. 6-2 Reds. 9th inning. Game 1. Cubs got their 2 on a double by Javi in the 3rd. The Reds scored all 6 in the 6th. The big blow, the Jesse Winker grand slam. There's a save on the line for Hughes, right? He came on with a tying run on deck. Ouch, 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 ouch.
It's good for one of those a day. Another note I came across today in baseball history, 1966, I believe it was, Satchel Paige made his last professional appearance. It was in Class A ball for Peninsula against the Greensboro Yankees. The regular catcher for the Peninsula Club was Johnny Bench, but he didn't catch that game. How cool would that have been for the fans to be able to look back and say, we saw Satchel Paige and
how old was Satchel?
Johnny Bench. Who knows?
50s, right? At least. Awkward AB so far for Javi.
Yeah, sometimes Javi literally does go down swinging.
Yeah, combo of Hughes being a sinker baller and Baez fouls a lot of balls off his leg. That's
sinker diving down and in on him.
Popped him up. Suarez in foul ground ends the ball game, and the Reds come back with the big 6th inning and beat the Cubs 6-2 in the opener. Well, say something smart.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Kyle Hendricks was in command of this game, but it was only a 2-run game, and as we've noted often in this ballpark, things can happen in a hurry, and that's exactly what transpired here tonight. He will not sleep well, Kyle, thinking about the Billy Hamilton at bat, and then Reds, who we talked about throughout the game, have been swinging it well lately. Had one big inning, and so often that's the story of a ball game. A 6-run 6th, and one great chance for the Cubs after that with Riz up there with the bases loaded, but Garrett made an outstanding pitch on him.
That was pretty smart. Thank you.